Welcome to this week's edition of What's the 411 Sports. I'm Keisha Wilson.
I'm Mike McDonald.
I'm Vincent Davis.
And later in the show, we will be joined by Brandon Robinson, co-host of Brown and Scoop, which is a weekly entertainment and sports podcast through CBS Radio's Play.It network. On today's show, we will be discussing Von Miller and Muhammad Wilkerson cashing in, Deflategate coming to an unceremonious end, Phil Jackson's thoughts on the three-point line, and Pat Riley issues a mea culpa. Welcome back to What's the 411 Sports. As I teased earlier, we are now joined by Brandon Robinson, co-host of Brown and Scoop.
What's going on? Yep, you got it. Right on the money. How's everybody doing?
Doing well.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Pleasure is ours.
Yes, man.
Mike,
Yep.
New York Jets.
New York Jets. Big story from last week. The New York Jets finally removed the franchise tag, and Muhammad Wilkerson, the elite 3-4 defensive end, is going to be back with the team. My question is, what took so long to get Mo Wilkerson back for Gang Green? And also, do you guys think that this will have an impact on the stalemate between the Jets and Ryan Fitzpatrick?
It's about time they paid him. He's worthy of the money that he received. He's worthy of being paid as a top player. He's going to get $17 million per season, and the players love him. He's great in the locker room. He's great out on the field, and he deserves the money. And it really took too long. I mean, especially after the guy broke his leg. When he broke his leg last year, the last game of the season, you really understand why some players, like say for example, Darrelle Revis does what he does. He tries to extract the greatest amount of money and hold the team up if he has to get paid.
He's a Rex Ryan guy, a guy that was left over, that stayed after Rex Ryan departed for Buffalo Bills. But I first became familiar with Wilkerson in my fantasy football team. I was short a defensive guy, and I put him in, and I think he got me like 13 points. So the fact that aside from that, I mean, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention he plays for the Jets. That green showed me the money. I think he's a guy that you want to kind of franchise in a world where guys on the defensive end are starting to really get paid, and not just get paid, but get guaranteed money. It's not solely incentive-laden in the contractual structure. But I think for Muhammad Wilkerson to come in, a guy that's local in New Jersey, a guy to stay home, play for the hometown team, and make some money and lead Gang Green and AFC to something spectacular potentially, I think it's great and it's a step in the right direction where a lot of players in both the NBA and NFL are getting paid.
Who knows why it took him this long? Look, they still don't have a contract with Ryan Fitzpatrick. So I don't know what took them so long to sign Wilkerson, but glad that they did. And I don't think this is going to have a really meaningful impact on what's happening between the Jets and Fitzpatrick. The signing of Wilkerson gives them a little more cap room because they did remove the franchise tag on him, but they're still far away from the number that Fitzpatrick wants. And it's going to take some maneuvering to even get closer. And it's maneuvering that they could have done already. So to me, unless we've got training camp coming up next week, and unless for some reason the Jets really feel the pinch of not having Fitzpatrick's going to sit out unless he decides that he doesn't want to and is going to take whatever money the Jets will give him. We're going to leave MetLife Stadium in Jersey. We're going to go through the tunnel, or maybe the Verrazano Bridge, whichever one you choose. And we're going to land in Brooklyn. And we're going to talk about the Nets. Jeremy Lin, Anthony Bennett, and others were introduced as Nets to the media. With the signing of Jeremy Lin, do you guys think that the Nets will get more of the back page of the dailies? And with Anthony Bennett, do you think that this might be his chance to really shine under the tutelage of Coach Kenny Atkinson?
Well,
go ahead, Mike.
It's tough for the Nets to get exposure here in New York for whatever reason. They made the playoffs 2 seasons ago, and it was a tough season that year for the Knicks. And even still, when the Nets were making the playoffs, for whatever reason, even still coming to Brooklyn, it's hard for them to get exposure in the media, on the sports talk radio. Now, again, if they start winning, things can turn around. I like the moves that they've made. Anthony Bennett, you've got nothing to lose bringing the guy in. And Jeremy Lin, I think, is a great fix. Having him return to the Big Apple, the guy's familiar with the New York area. He's He's won here. He's been successful. Really orchestrated his career here, and he has familiarity with their first-year head coach, Kenny Atkinson. So after a tough season for Brooklyn, I like what they've done with the basketball decisions that they've made, specifically Sean Marks, the first-time general manager. I think that they're really doing a good job trying to turn this franchise around.
Yeah, I think Sean Marks coming out of the San Antonio Spurs system of greatness, if you will. People that I've spoken to within the Nets organization have just indicated even taking a step and just kind of distancing themselves as far as the draft. At the draft this year, while most teams were at the Barclays Center, they were actually at their headquarters doing their own private drafting and kind of strategizing and kind of getting their Yoda from Star Wars on, if you will. But I think that for Kenny Atkinson, I think in year one, having a relationship with Jeremy Lin is vital. I think Anthony Bennett, after the last couple of years being traded in the Kevin Love deal that sent him to Minnesota for, so Kevin Love, I think that even in Minnesota, I think slowly but surely he was starting to kind of get acclimated. I think it was a lot of pressure coming out of the NBA draft a few years ago. And I also think that he has a fresh start where people are paying more attention to the Knicks. Right now, on paper, the Knicks do look better. I still do think that they're about a 31 to 41 win ball club this coming season, but the Nets have low expectations. Perhaps they can get higher results. So we'll see what happens with that.
The Knicks have been regressing for the last few years. Signing of Jeremy Lin was an excellent business move, excellent marketing. If Jeremy Lin wants to get back on the back pages, it's up to Jeremy Lin. Same thing he did when he was here in his second year. He's got to score. He's got to make it happen. Right now, Jeremy Lin, Brook Lopez are the nucleus of this new Nets team, and they just have to go from there. And same with the management, with the acquisitions, with trades, with how are they going to do it. It's up to the Nets to bring attention to themselves.
I think a screen and roll center that Brook Lopez is, I think it'll be Christmas early for he and Jeremy Lin spreading the floor. I think, Rondé Hollis Jefferson potentially having a healthy season. He's been playing well in the Summer League over the last little while. And I also think I'm going to miss Jarrett Jack playing for the Nets this season. I think he came out with an ACL injury this season, signed with the Atlanta Hawks. But I think that the Nets are going in that young direction, and I think they're maybe like one or two pieces away from being competitive. I think maybe being on the Knicks' level. I think the Knicks are a competitive team. I think but there are some questions there where there's some guys that have something to prove. I think Sean Marks has something to prove. Atkinson has something to prove. And Jeremy Lin's going to sell some tickets.
Everyone in New York has something to prove.
Yes.
Now we'll go over the Brooklyn Bridge. We're not going to talk about the Knicks exactly, but we're going to talk about team president Phil Jackson. And many people, I'm eager to see what your guys' reaction is to this. Is Phil Jackson out of his mind for wanting a 4-point line? Now, and also, by the way, he's recommending eliminating the 24-second shot clock in favor of a 30-second shot clock. Is Jackson being serious here? And what do you think? Maybe he's just messing with people's heads, or is this something that he's really onto?
I think this is the point in basketball is a year-round global sport. I think this is the point where we're kind of stretching for quotes when there's media access time. And can we move to the next topic? But no, I think in all seriousness, I mean, Phil is stoic. I think that Phil, he knows what to say to get people talking. Could you imagine a 24-second shot clock? Like, that's like erasing all my memories of playing NBA Jam.
Yeah, right.
Well, a 30-second clock is going to cut down on possessions each team, and it's going to slow the game down more. He states that it gives the low post players an opportunity to get the ball. If they can't get the ball in 24 seconds, wait till the next possession. Keep it moving. In terms of a four-point shot, I have nothing against a four-point shot. You're just going to have more people jacking it up more.
Steph Curry. Who said that?
I don't know. It sounded like it came from that side of the table. I mean, who knows Phil Jackson's motivation? It sounds on its surface like the ramblings of some stodgy old grandpa just wanting to talk, but could he be ahead of his time? I don't know. He's a Zen master. Maybe he's on another plane and we're just not there yet, but I don't know what advantage having a 4-point line is going to have. I'm already tired of people just jacking up threes as soon as they touch the ball, they're jacking up threes, and I don't think a 4-point line is going to make that any, it's not going to make it more palatable for me to watch the game. And as far as adding more seconds to the clock, I'm kind of with Vincent on this. That's the coach's responsibility to get his team to run an offense within the time that you're given. You've got 24 seconds to get the ball to whomever needs to touch it. And if you can't do that, then somebody's not doing their job and they need to go.
Mike D'Antoni might have something to say about that. I think his offense in Phoenix was like 10 seconds or
Right,
less.
right,
Like
exactly.
that.
Yeah.
So a guy such as yourself, I can see why you're kind of like, Phil was a big man too. So I think that when he played in the NBA,
Right.
so I think he's going to always kind of be on the side of the big man. So
Well, it's like we can't win with these rules. Let's create some new ones. Maybe we can adapt
Right.
to them. Give us a fresh start.
Well, the one thing the NBA, I'm not pro 4-point line, but one thing that it would do is it would allow teams that are down by 20 points, 25 points in the third quarter, it would give them an opportunity to kind of get back into the game. I'm not for the 4-point line at this point in time. But the thing is that it does point out to a lot in the NBA, in the regular season, and then into the playoffs, and even in the NBA finals, especially the first two games, we had a lot of blowouts. There were a lot of blowout games, and I think that that's something that we really need to be aware of because people are tuning out, especially in November and December where you're tuning into a Sunday night game or a weeknight game where before it's the playoffs and a team is down by 15 after the first quarter. It's just something to be aware of, but I think we're all in agreement for right now, no 4-point line.
And also, hitting your free throws would help.
Welcome back to What's the 411 Sports. I hope you have your pen, paper, smartphone, or whatever you need ready because here are the events that are in the pipeline. The New York Yankees are playing the final game of a 3-game homestand against the San Francisco Giants tomorrow, July 24th, while the Mets will be in Florida and they play the Marlins, wrapping up their 3-game series.
The Jets and Giants open up their training camps this week. The Jets on the 27th and the Giants on the 28th.
And the USPGA will take place in nearby Springfield, New Jersey on July 28th to July 31st. And the 2016 Summer Olympics in Rio de Janeiro will begin on August 5th and will continue to August 21st. So, unfortunately, this is the time where we have to say goodbye to all of you, our friends out there. But don't worry, you can keep up with us until we meet again next week by liking us on Facebook, following us on Instagram and Twitter, and subscribing to our YouTube channel, all at 411 Sports TV. I'm Keisha Wilson, and on behalf of Mike McDonald, Vincent Davis, and our special guest, Brandon Robinson, we thank you for joining us this week, and we look forward to seeing you again next week.